So what do y'all say? Let's talk about knives. Y'all like knives? I like knives. So knives for the prepared person, the prepared man or woman or whatever you may claim to be. I don't care. So first of all, I'm a knife snob, right? I love, high end, or well, high end to some people is different, but I love the really high quality knives. I have a few of the what I call high end knives, the Striders. I've got a couple of Ken Onions, these knives that cost more than what I'm gonna say on here, because if my wife watches this video, she'll know how much I spent. But also the what I'm going to call mid-tier knives, the $100 to $500 range. I love that stuff, and I've got a bunch of them. I collect them. But here's the kicker: I don't carry them. I don't. And there's a few different reasons for that, and I'll get into what I actually carry here in just a second. But hear me out. Just hang with me for a minute. Most of them are made out of this super high quality steel, right? And like the ZDP 189 or the, whatever super steel, the S90V, whatever element OP alphabet soup and box of numbers you want to stick on a blade. And that's awesome. Those are wonderful knife steels. But what's more important to me is that I can actually use the knife. And when it does go dull, because they all go dull, being able to just touch it up real quick on freaking anything and get it back into service. So the knives I actually carry are substantially cheaper quality knives. For a knife snob, that seems a little counterintuitive. So I had some note cards written out about this, but I left all of them at the house, and I'm too lazy to run back inside and get them. So let's start with folders. I don't even know what knife I have with me right now, but we'll find out here in just a second. So with a folding knife, I like something in the 2 to 4 inch blade range that's one-handed, that has a really secure and easy to actuate lock that I can do everything I need to do with some bulky gloves on. That's my criteria. I want it to weigh as little as possible. If it has a pocket clip on it, freaking awesome. I take every one of those things off and I throw them in the trash. I've lost dozens and dozens, hundreds of dollars worth of knives to pocket clips that just fell off. That's a stick, a piece of wire, or a seat belt, or whatever, snags it and rips it out of my pocket. So let's see what I got on me today. I have several knives that I carry, and I just throw them in a box and whatever I reach in and grab in the morning. Okay, so today I actually have, see that? It's one of the bird knives. I think it's, what do they call these? Like the Cara. It's the Bird is Spyderco's cheaper line. They're almost the same dimensionally as the Spyderco Endura, except they cost about half as much. I don't care whether I grab this one or my Spyderco. It makes zero difference to me whatsoever. Today, I guess I just so happen to have this one. The thing I like about them, this one and the Spyderco, and the VG10 steel is the steel that I like on the Spydercos. This is 8CR13 MOV, which is a good steel. I want a steel that's good enough, right? I want it to perform well enough. And whenever this starts to get to where it doesn't want to cut anymore, I can roll down the window of my pickup, hit it a few times on the top of the glass. Just a second, I gotta blow my nose. These allergies are driving me nuts. A couple swipes on the top of the window glass of my pickup, and it's back to cutting just fine. I worked in a beef packing plant for a pretty good while, and the ability to just take and touch something up. They use knives that are like crappy steel as far as the knife world, but they're razor sharp all freaking day long, and those knives get used more in a day than most people will use in a decade. So you don't need a super crazy knife to be able to get the job done. People get way too wrapped around the perfect knife. What knife is the best? Is this? Yeah, it's a good knife. You open it up and it cuts. Keep it sharp and learn how to sharpen it. Don't get too wrapped around this stuff. But like I said, I generally, Spyderco or Bird. I've got some cold steel knives. But most generally it's either the longer Endura or the shorter Delica. I don't have a preference, but I do want something that's pretty slim, because by the time you get all this extra crap in your pockets, flashlight, keys, pen, maybe an extra magazine for your pistol, I get tired of having all this crap. I don't even carry a multi-tool with me unless I'm actually doing something. So that's one of the most important things to me, is that it's small, slim, and lightweight. About fixed blade knives, I did think to grab one out of the truck. Fixed blade knives, same thing. I've got a bunch of really cool ones. I don't carry them, don't use them, just at all. What do I actually use? Well, before we get into that, let's talk about what I actually, what I like. I want a knife, once again, lightweight, holds securely in its sheath, that's pretty impervious to water. I'm not gonna like tear it up or something. And the one that fits the bill perfect for that, of cost versus easy to touch up when it gets dull, and actual usability, is, just the Mora. This one I think is the 511. This is just the one I keep in the truck. If I'm actually going out and, think I'm going to use a fixed blade, which is almost never, I'll get one of the companions. I think they're, a little bit more expensive, but we're still talking under $25 here. Don't get so wrapped up around the axle on this stuff. You don't need to spend a lot of money on a knife. The $25 and under Mora stuff is perfectly fine. I do have a SE3 that I like. It's at the house, and if I think about it, I'll grab it. But generally, I don't. I really enjoy these more inexpensive ones. What if I need a bigger knife? If I need something bigger, I don't carry a bigger knife. I do one of two things, and that is either somewhere between I've got a 12, a 14, and an 18-inch machete. Tramontina and Ontario are who makes them. Which one's better? It doesn't matter. They're pretty much equal. I either do that, or I use a council tool boy's axe. Those, I've never needed anything that wasn't that, right? If you need something more than that, you need a chainsaw. Or you knew you were coming up against that and you could have brought something better. If it's survival or something like that, you don't need anything more than that. And I'm going to be honest with you, I use the machete a ton more than I use the axe. I actually keep it in the truck. It's in the cab. I could grab it, but I'm not going to right now. And what I use it for is mostly like weeds that build up along fence lines, or like an overgrown barn. It gets used a surprising amount. I was actually really surprised at how much I use that. If I'm going to be using it for something like that, I prefer the longer one, because I'm not bending over as much. But if it's going to be walking around, screw that longer one. I want the little short 12-inch one. That's all I need. It'll baton through wood. It'll do all of the big knife stuff, and it weighs nothing, and it's bendy, and I don't break it. And I just carry a file, and I sharpen it with a file, and it's just easier. I have some really nice large knives. Once again, I just use the machete. So I think that pretty much covers everything. That's EDC, that's, your more of your heavier duty fixed blade stuff. And then if you need something bigger, I think we got that covered as well. That's it. I don't get wrapped up around the axle on it, and I don't think you should either. A knife is a knife. The knife in your kitchen is probably all the knife that you actually need. Don't listen to all these people that say you got to have some, you know, super special operations, SAS, SOG, SEAL, Sniper Delta, you know, crazy knife. You don't. I grew up outdoors. I've done more outdoor stuff than most people in the, you know, that you meet. The average outdoorsman has done more survival stuff than the guy in the military who's been through survival training. And that's not taking anything away from them. It's just fact. So don't get too wrapped around the axle on knives. I still love good knives. I always will. It's not what I use. Well, anyway, until next time, I hope that helps, by the way. I hope it wasn't too rambly without the note cards. But anyway, hit the thumbs up, give me a sub, do all the things that don't cost you a dime to help me out. And until next time, you guys be safe.